Hi guys, so today we're doing scatter plots and using scatter plots. Okay, so we're going to first start off with types of correlation. There are three types of correlation: positive, negative, and no correlation. Okay, so positive correlation, if you look at your scatter plot, it should generally look kind of like a positive slope. It's going up and to the right. What it means is as one thing increases, as one variable increases, so does the other one. Okay. A negative correlation is the opposite, okay, where as one thing increases, the other decreases, right? And no correlation is kind of if everything is everywhere, okay? And you can see that in your book on page 86. It describes some stuff about scatter plot, as well as line of fit and a prediction equation. Okay? So we're going to get started here with our one and only example. Okay, so the table below shows the median selling price of new privately owned one-family homes for some recent years. Okay. What we're going to do is first we're going to draw a scatter plot and then a line of fit for the data, and then how well does the line fit the data. Okay, it's a little bit hard when it gets super specific and things like that, but we're going to try our best to get started. Okay. So I'm going to start by labeling my axes. The x-axis is going to be years, and since we're going from 1994 to 2004, and I only have 10 boxes, it's just going to go in order: 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, sorry, it's a little bit small in order to fit, 99,000, 1,001, 1,002. Oh my goodness, I did not fit it. Okay, actually we're going to make this 94. I can't label it all. Okay, starting over. 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99,000 here. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004. Okay, we're not going to label each one. Each one represents one. Okay? Okay, then next we're going to do our y-axis, which is price by 1,000. So I'm going to label my y-axis price, and I'm going to write that is 1,000. Right? In order to fit it all, I'm also, can't fit it all. So I'm going to try my best here. We're starting, our lowest is at 130 all the way to 219.6 or 220. That's almost 10. So I'm going to also start by labeling 130, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 10, 100, 10. Okay. So this will be 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, this is 210, and this is 220. Okay, then I'm going to graph. So 94 is at 130, so that's about here. Then 96 is 140, so 95, 96 is at 140, that's about here. 98 is 152.5, so 6, 7, 8, 152.5, so that's about maybe here or so. Okay, next one is 2000, so that's here, that's at 169, so really close to the 179 mark here. And then 2002 is 187, so here's 2002, 187 is about here. And then 2004 is 219.6, and so that's about here. Okay. So this is my scatter plot. Okay. The one that the book has is perfect because they used a computer to make it. Obviously, I'm not a computer, so this is as good as it's going to get. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a line of best fit. So whenever you're drawing a line of best fit, you generally want it to either hit as many dots as possible, or if not, you want to have about the same amount above as below, right? And so here, it kind of has, this is pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do it this way. And this is my line of best fit. Okay. All right, I have some above, below. This one's kind of an outlier, right? So it's hard to go through it, okay? And so here, if you look, theirs is obviously perfect, right? And so here, theirs kind of goes through most of their dots, right? There's about one above and a little two below, and except for the outlier. Okay, so next, it asks us to find a prediction equation. Okay, so for this one, it's a little bit kind of hard. Okay, and it depends which points you use, right? So the book chose to use this point and this point. No, did they? Yeah, they chose to use this point and this point here. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. We're just going to use the same points they did. But again, when you're doing your check your progress questions or your homework questions, if it's not exact, the reason why is they might have chosen different points than you. It doesn't necessarily mean yours is wrong, okay? So please don't just mark yourself just because it's not exactly correct, okay? But we're going to use the points that they chose. So they chose 1996. So they chose to write it as 2, 140.0 and then 8, 187.6. If you're wondering where they got the 2 from, it's because the 1996 is 2 years from the 1994. And then the 2002 is 8 years from there. Okay, so that's where they got that 2 and the 8. Okay, so here, let's write our prediction equation. So let's start with our slope. Okay, so one is going to be x1, y1. The other one's x2, y2. Okay, so 187.6 minus 140.0 divided by 8 minus 2. Okay, 187.6 minus 140 is 47.6. And then 8 minus 2 is 6. And what this gives you is it's approximately 7.93333. Okay? Then we need to find the y-intercept. So it's up to you again whether you want to use a point slope form or the slope intercept form. I like slope intercept form more, so I'm going to use that way. So I'm going to use this as my x and y and find my b. Equals 7.93 times my 2 plus b. So this gives me about 15.86. And 40.0. Subtract it. And this gives me 124.14. Okay, so here, y equals 7.93x plus 124.14. Okay, the slope here represents the fact. They don't write it. Okay, the slope indicates that the median price increases by 7.93 thousand, or another way to write it is $7,930,000 a year. That's what the slope represents. It's every year it's increasing by 7.93 thousand, which is 7,930. Okay. The y-intercept indicates the price at the beginning, which in this case, this all starts in 1995. Is it exact? No, we know it's not exact. That's why it's a prediction equation, right? But 124 is pretty close to that 130. Okay. So here I chose to use my slope-intercept form. Okay. If you look at the book, once they get to this part, they chose to use the point slope form, but you'll see that they get the same equation as I do, y equals 7.93 x plus 124.14. Again, it means the same. The slope indicates that the median price is increasing at that 7.930, right, or $7,930 per year. And then again, the y-intercept indicates that at 1994, it was about this price in the beginning, which again, it's not exact because we know it was 130, but again, it's just a prediction equation. We're just using it to estimate what will happen, okay? So here, when it says predict the median price in 2014, 2014 is 20 years after, right, 20 years later, after when we started, okay? So this 20 years is going to be our x, and we're going to use our equation that we had from before to see what it actually is. Okay? So let's plug it in. So I'm going to plug in the 20 here for x. So y equals 7.93 times 20 plus 124.14. Okay, 7.93 times 20 is approximate. It is 158.6. And then this gives us 282.74. Okay, so what it means is in 2014, the median price should be around $282,740, right? Because this is in thousands. So 282,740. Okay. How accurate does the prediction appear to be? Obviously, this book is now old. It was originally written in 2008. So when we predicted 2014, we didn't know. So if you look at the book here, it says, except for the outlier, the line fits the data very well. So the predicted value should be fairly accurate. I'm sure if we could look it up on the internet, if we knew which city it was and everything, we can actually determine whether or not this line of fit really works well. Okay, but at least for now, they said we're gonna assume that it's pretty accurate. But we can look it up to see if that's true or not. Okay, so now you're gonna work on CYP1. It's the only one, and then come check your answer. Okay, so again, your answers might be a little bit different, and that's absolutely fine. It just depends which points you used for your prediction line and things like that, okay? So if yours is just close to this, that's absolutely fine, okay? So here I just graphed my points, okay? So your graph should kind of look like that. Your line should kind of be in this direction as well. Again, we have this outlier point, okay? The book chose to use these as their points. If you chose to use this point and like this point, you would have a different answer, and that's absolutely fine as well. Okay. So again, keep this in mind. As long as your process is correct, that's all I'm really looking for. Okay. So here, since the book used the second year, or 1996 and 2002, that's where these numbers come from. So we did 228.7 minus 166.4, and then 8 minus 2. Okay, that simplifies to about 10.4. So if your number is somewhere there, it doesn't have to be exactly 10.4. It doesn't have to be 10.5 or 10.3. If it's somewhere around there, you're probably okay. Okay, so you just need to check your process, okay, because your numbers are probably going to be different unless you just so happen to choose the exact same numbers as above. Okay. They also chose to round to 1 decimal place this time. So again, if you chose to use the 10.38 instead of the 10.4, your answer will be a little bit different, okay? But it does not mean you're wrong, okay? Then I chose to use the slope-intercept form way to get my y-intercept, which is approximately 145.6. Again, your number could be a little bit off, okay? And then after that, I used it to predict what would happen in 20 years or in 2014. Okay, and that gave me 353,600. Okay, so again, take these answers with a grain of salt. It's all about the process of it. Because again, if you chose different points, your answer will be slightly off. It doesn't mean you're wrong though. Okay, so that's it for today. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.